Welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to take a look at the right business idea on the My SME Manual. And the goal of this video is to identify the right business idea through the sweet spot model that I've explained in a couple of videos earlier. So let's jump over to the My SME Manual. We're going to scroll down and we're going to select section number 1, business strategy, and under that, build business on your strengths. Under Build Business on Your Strength, you'll find the sweet spot model, and this is basically a presentation of how the sweet spot model looks. You've got passion, strength and resources, and economic engine. And just to recap on this is very important when you look at the right business idea for you, or even if you're an existing business but you're struggling to get the business to work, it might be that you're busy with the wrong idea. So you gotta ask yourself, honestly, what are you deeply passionate about? And what is your business deeply passionate about? Secondly, you gotta ask yourself, what is my technical skill and my talents? As well as what resources do I have at my disposal? And then lastly, is this an idea that's gonna make money? What's the economic engine behind the idea? If the idea can't make money, this is just a charity or a hobby. If the idea can generate income, it is a legitimate business idea and your chances of success is much better than when you're struggling to make money. Now, the thing that really drives the economic engine is your value proposition. Are you selling a necessity or are you selling a luxury? That is a crucial question for you to ask. Okay, but let's jump now to passion and let's see. Passion basically is the fuel in your tank. It's going to keep you along the journey. It's going to inspire the people around you, and it also can indicate which market you would like to serve. Secondly, your strength and resources, technical skill. This is quite obvious. What are you technically good at that you can provide other people with if there's a need for that? What are you talented in? That's going to be an indication to what you should do in your own business, and the rest you should outsource by employing people or getting third-party vendors into your business. And lastly, resources. What resources do you have at your disposal that you can leverage from in order to build your business model? Economic engine, value proposition, fairly easy. What's the need? That's the main idea of your value proposition. Do you supply a logical solution for the need? What's the urgency of when the market needs it? That is the basic concept of your economic engine. For your value proposition, your competitive advantage is comparing apples with apples, and your unique selling proposition is the thing that makes you different to the competitors. So for the My SME online business course, I'm going to use an example for a shoe shop. Fancy shoes for men, for their fancy occasions in their lives. I'll consider to do the practicality of these videos on Street Chef with my based on my interviews with Ntando Lerhwengu, but I realized that I can't really do that because I'm going to give a lot of IP away, and that might hurt his business going forward, which I don't want to do. So I'm rather going to use an alternative idea that's very simple. It's an idea that I can do both as a shop that attracts people to my shop, getting feet into my shop at a certain location, as well as I can create a website where I can do e-commerce and I can make sales online with the shoe shop. So it covers both aspects fairly well, which is the majority of the businesses out there. And I think that's a very good thing. So let's first of all start with passion. What are you deeply passionate about? Let's say I am deeply passionate about well-crafted shoes. Well-crafted, let's say well-crafted, custom-made shoes. That is what I'm deeply passionate about. And that is as simple as the answer should be. You shouldn't overdo it. You shouldn't make it too difficult. Keep it very simple. Why am I deeply passionate about this? Because I want to boost my customers' confidence with good shoes. Right, as simple as that. Okay, and you can then answer the rest of the questions. What's inspirational about your passion? What industry or market segment do you want to serve? As well as summarize your passion in a nutshell. Let's say here I'm going to answer this one and say, for the purpose of saving a bit of time, I'm skipping some of the answers. So let's say for this one I'm going to say, in a nutshell, I'm deeply passionate about custom shoes that will boost my customers' confidence. There we go. Right, strength and resources. What am I technically good at? Let's say, for example, I worked in a shoe factory, so I can craft custom shoes. Whether it be leather material or alternative substances. Let's say my talents and abilities is I'm well organized and understand human behavior. This will indicate that I will be a good manager in my business, as well as I will understand the marketing patterns I need to use because I understand human behavior. I will then look to outsource the sales of my business as well as the operations after I've created systems to create the best custom shoe. I will then outsource that to people to come and make the shoes for me. I will stick to my talents, which is I'm well organized and understanding human behavior, which is then marketing. What resources do I have at my disposal? Let's say where I worked at the shoe shop factory. So let's say I worked at a factory and I had some contacts which will enable me to get my stock at cost price. And there you go, that is my resources. So let's go lastly to summarizing my strengths in a nutshell. I'm going to say here, I will manage the business, focus on the marketing, and work with my contacts for good deals. This is a clear indication that I'm not building business on my strengths and I'm using the resources at my disposal in order to make this work. Lastly, economic engine. What is the value proposition? In other words, why will the target market need my product or service? Will they pay for it? It's very simple. Men need fancy shoes for fancy occasions. Okay, so I am making a calculation that 75% of the men will need some sort of fancy shoe for their wedding one day. So that's going to be one of my calculations, as well as fancy dinners, etc., etc. And I believe there's a need for this in the market, and I'm going to take a look at certain options when it comes to the market research to now basically show me that the idea is legitimate. Right, competitive advantage. In a nutshell, what I'm going to say here is I'm going to say we get the stock at cost price, which means I can undercut my competitors with better quality shoes. When it comes to your competitive advantage, it's all about comparing apples with apples. When it comes to the uniqueness, I now need something different. So I'm going to say here the uniqueness, custom-made shoes with customers' initials on the inside. So I'm going to bring something different to my product that's going to make me different to the competitors out there. That should get people's attention. I'm going to skip the summarize here. This video is getting a bit long, and you'll see the gap in the market. Men need fancy shoes for fancy occasions at affordable prices. That in a nutshell is my economic engine, and I believe that this will gain some traction in the market. And as simple as that, that is how you use the sweet spot model in order to create a good business idea. I will see you guys in the next video.